Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are taking a close look at a very interesting American coin that many people may have seen in their pocket change without realizing that collectors still pay attention to it. We are talking about the USA 1997 Roosevelt Dime. If you have a 1997 Roosevelt Dime sitting in an old coin jar, a wallet, a drawer, or a collection box, then stay with me because in this video we are going to look at the history of the coin, its design, its composition, its mint marks, its condition, and most importantly its circulated value. The Roosevelt Dime is one of the most recognizable coins in United States coinage. It carries the portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, and it has been produced for decades. The 1997 issue is part of the modern Roosevelt Dime series, and millions of these coins were struck for circulation. Because the 1997 Roosevelt Dime is a modern coin, and because large numbers were produced, most circulated examples are normally worth close to their face value. That means a regular worn 1997 Roosevelt Dime is generally not a rare treasure worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. However, collectors still look carefully at these coins because condition, mint marks, errors, and unusual varieties can make an example more interesting. The first thing to understand is the basic denomination. A Roosevelt dime has a face value of 10 cents. The 1997 dime is made from the standard copper-nickel composition used for regular Roosevelt dimes of this period. It is not one of the older silver Roosevelt dimes that collectors often search for. This distinction is extremely important. Many people hear the word Roosevelt dime and immediately think about valuable silver coins. But regular Roosevelt dimes dated 1965 and later were made with a copper-nickel composition rather than the 90% silver composition used before 1965. So if you have a normal 1997 Roosevelt dime that has been circulated for many years, then its value is usually very modest. But there is still a reason to examine it carefully. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left. Around the portrait you can see the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" along with the date 1997. On the reverse you can see the traditional Roosevelt dime design featuring a torch in the center with an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right. The words United States of America and one dime are also displayed. These details make the Roosevelt dime one of the most familiar designs in American pocket change. Now let's talk about circulated value. A heavily worn 1997 Roosevelt dime with scratches, discoloration, and normal circulation marks will generally be worth around its face value of 10 cents. In other words, if you find one in ordinary pocket change, it normally does not have a large collector premium. A lightly circulated example may still be worth around 10 cents with only a small premium if a collector wants it for a particular set. A better preserved example with sharp details and very little wear can attract more attention. However, once a coin starts moving into collectible condition, the value depends heavily on grade and eye appeal. This is where many new collectors make a mistake. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the 1972 Jefferson nickel. This is one of the most common 5-cent coins in the United States, but many collectors are surprised to learn that some examples can be worth far more than 5 cents. If you have a jar of old coins or a collection passed down through your family, you may already own one. Stay with me until the end because I will explain what makes a 1972 Jefferson nickel valuable and which details you should check before spending it. The Jefferson nickel has been part of American history since 1938. It replaced the Buffalo nickel and features President Thomas Jefferson on the front of the coin. The back of the 1972 coin shows Jefferson's famous home called Monticello. Millions of these coins were used every day in stores, vending machines, and businesses across the United States. Even today, many of them can still be found in circulation. The 1972 Jefferson nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, while coins from Denver have a small D mint mark on the front of the coin. More than 1 billion coins were produced during the year, which makes this one of the easiest Jefferson nickels to find. Even though the coin is common, condition makes a huge difference in value. The next thing to look for is an error. This is one of the most exciting parts of coin collecting. A genuine mint error can sometimes make an ordinary denomination much more interesting. Collectors look for problems such as off-center strikes, double designs, clipped planchets, broadstrikes, missing elements, and other unusual minting characteristics. But there is an important warning. Many coins that look like errors are actually damaged after leaving the mint. For example, scratches, dents, bends, flattened edges, chemical discoloration, and machine damage can make a coin appear unusual. These forms of damage usually do not create major collector value. A genuine mint error normally has characteristics that can be explained by something going wrong during the manufacturing process. If you believe your 1997 Roosevelt Dime has a major error, it is a good idea to compare it with authenticated examples or have it examined by a professional coin expert before assuming it is extremely valuable. Now let's talk about condition. Condition is one of the biggest factors that separates ordinary circulated coins from more collectible examples. A heavily circulated 1997 Roosevelt Dime may have scratches and wear across both sides. The lettering may still be visible, but the finer details will be reduced. A moderately circulated coin may have clearer details with some visible wear. A lightly circulated coin can retain much of its original appearance, and an uncirculated coin can show the original mint surface without the normal wear caused by circulation. Collectors use grading systems to describe these differences. Professional grading companies can assign numerical grades to coins based on their condition. Look at the torch. Look at the lettering. Look at the rims and the edge. You will quickly begin to notice the differences that professional collectors pay attention to. Another useful tip is to check your coins with a magnifying glass. Small details can be difficult to see with the naked eye. A simple magnifier and a good light source can help you inspect the date, mint mark, lettering, and possible errors. But always remember that a magnifying glass does not automatically prove an error. Research and comparison are important. If you are searching through pocket change for valuable coins, you should also keep your expectations realistic. Most 1997 Roosevelt dimes are common. Most are worth their face value. Only unusual examples have the potential for a significant premium. This is actually good news for collectors because it means you can find these coins without spending a fortune. You can start by checking the coins you already have. Look through your change. Check old coin jars. Look through inherited collections. Examine coins that have been sitting in drawers for years, and always keep an eye out for unusual details. Sometimes the most interesting coin is not the oldest coin. Now let's review the main points. The USA 1997 Roosevelt Dime has a face value of 10 cents. It is a modern copper-nickel Roosevelt Dime, rather than a silver Roosevelt Dime. A normal circulated 1997 example is generally worth around its face value. Condition can affect value, but ordinary circulated examples usually have little or no premium. Mint marks should be checked, but a mint mark alone does not make the coin rare. Errors and varieties can potentially increase value if they are genuine. Damage caused after the coin left the mint usually does not make it valuable, and cleaning the coin can hurt its collector appeal. So before you spend a lot of money buying a 1997 Roosevelt Dime advertised online for an unbelievable price, take a moment to research the exact coin. Remember that asking prices are not always the same as actual selling prices. A seller can list a common coin for a very high amount, but that does not mean collectors are actually paying that amount. For a realistic valuation, always compare similar coins in the same condition and look for evidence of completed sales whenever possible. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and that is exactly what makes it exciting. A small 10-cent coin can teach you about American history, minting technology, coin design, and collecting. Even when a coin is worth only 10 cents, it can still be an interesting piece of history. And if your 1997 Roosevelt Dime happens to have an unusual mint error or exceptional condition, then that is when things can become much more interesting. So the next time you see a 1997 Roosevelt Dime in your pocket, do not immediately throw it into a jar without looking at it. Turn it over. Check the date. Look at the mint mark. Inspect the details. Look at the edge. Check for unusual characteristics. And compare it with other examples. You never know what you might discover. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoy learning about American coins, coin values, rare coins, mint errors, and collectible pocket change, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss our next video.